There's an article in the Times published a couple of days ago called "Youth Violence Will Bring a Summer of Carnage," warns surgeon Martin Griffiths. Now, we hear a lot about crime in London. We see these numbers going up and up and up. But we think more about the shock and the horror of it. We think more about the numbers of it and what politically that means. It's easy to forget, just subconsciously, that these are real people. These are real people, and it's not just people dying, it's people being hurt. And it's not just the people being hurt and dying, it's the people around them, their family, their friends, and their loved ones whose lives are being altered forever. And then it's the people that have to deal with this at a policing level, the people that have to deal with this at a surgical level, the people that have to deal with this at an emotional and mental support level. I mean, this is wide-reaching stuff. And this article really made me think about that. So Martin Griffiths, he's a leading trauma surgeon at the Royal London Hospital in East London. And he talks about how London's going to face a summer of carnage, but he also says that London's looking more like South Africa. You're looking at stabbing and gunshot wounds of a proportion and severity that matches those environments. If it was hot weather right now, it would be carnage. When it gets a few degrees warmer, it's going to be taxing. It's going to be difficult. Isn't that amazing? Like one of the leading trauma surgeons in London is talking about children, kids, young people. They're not going in for stuff that I used to go into the hospital for when I was a kid, jumping from bollards and whacking my chin open when I fell over and all that kind of stupid stuff. It's kids. Kids involved in knife death and gun crime. It's insanity. To the point where he's saying we're going to reach South African levels by the summer. And it makes me think about Sadiq Khan. Does he consider that side of this? Does he really think about this? In New York, they've got that big national debt clock that's there to remind everybody just how much money the United States owes. And it's there for the politicians, it's there for the media, and it's there for the people that just walk past generally. We need a clock in London, outside the mayor's office. How about that? A big stabbing clock. Here's the amount of people that have died as a result of inaction by politicians and a result of inefficient policing. And Sadiq Khan's right to talk about police cuts, but as I've talked about in videos before, there's things that he can do. He can reprioritize the funding and the resources that the police has to deal with this stuff. And in some cases, you know what? Why not get the armed forces out? Seriously, patrolling areas where people are getting stabbed to death. I don't care if it seems radical. The most important thing here is people's lives. And now we've got the leading surgeon in one of our hospitals telling us that we're going to be facing carnage by the summer. This is London. I mean, it's terrifying. Some people think that we should arm ourselves in London. The laws should be changed now so that people in London can arm themselves and defend themselves. And don't you think that's so sad? As an Englishman who never even thinks about that kind of thing, we're not big on guns really over here, that we would even think of something like that. It's time, really, to go Rudy Giuliani on this. What Rudy Giuliani did for New York City was amazing. He turned that place around. In fact, that's why it's so interesting about the figures for New York and London with the murder rates and how London's overtaken New York. What's actually interesting about that is London murder rates kind of done this, it's gone up and down with a general upwards trajectory. But the New York rates have just gone down and down and down and down for decades since Giuliani. That's when it started, is with him. So it can be done. It can be fixed. Hearing these things from leading surgeons is really sad. I moved down south from the north recently, and I've been really looking forward to summer in London because I love the vibe. I love seeing all my friends there, and it's just a great city. I do love London. I know I slag it off a lot, but I do love London. And it's just a shame to think that people can't enjoy that like they used to do, because there's always this threat of a stabbing. A friend of mine was going home the other day. 15 minutes after he left the station, someone was stabbed. And actually now, in a video the other day, I said there have been 59 deaths. Now we're on 60 dead from shooting and stabbings. Let's have a quick look at that one. So that's London bloodbath, the Express says. 60th violent murder in London just yards from Corbyn's home. A young man who was full of life was stabbed to death in a brutal and violent attack just yards from Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn's home in Finsbury Park, North London. And it was a young black lad. And there's been studies that show that this kind of violent crime is overwhelmingly black people are victims of it because it's happening in their communities. And this is why I talk about ethno-cultural gangs and community divisions and community cohesion, and why the politicians will never talk about this stuff. But they need to. We need to be stricter on the streets. We need to go all Rudy Giuliani with our stop and search. We need to remind Sadiq Khan just how many people are dying, and we can't let that go. And we need to foster better community relations in London. And actually that starts with making sure that London has the best of the best. If people are going to emigrate to the United Kingdom, to London, they've got to be the best of the best. If we've got people in London who've been on benefits most of their lives, who weren't born here and are not paying into the system, why are they here? What about the people that are here who've done nothing but crime their whole lives? Why aren't we talking about repercussions for that? Why aren't we prioritising the best of the best for this city and helping community relations? I mean, it's incredible at this point. There are things we can do. There are things we can do. But in the meantime, I guess we've got to wait and hope that this prediction isn't right, and hope we can have a nice summer in the city without carnage. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, remember to download our app on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, and like and subscribe.